Hello, beautiful being, and welcome to Repattern Reality and Let It Ripple. Today, I'll be talking about our pattern with problems and repatterning our relationship to problem. Not a problem. Enjoy. Repattern reality and let it ripple. You feel like you got some problems? Ugh, yuck. Who likes problems? When a problem shows up, first response is like, ugh, solve yourself. Go away. Again? Oh, yeah. Problems ain't that fun. And I want to dive into how we can create a new relationship with problems. Maybe see them in a new way. Maybe create a new pattern with them and let it ripple, huh? So let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we may have been in a pattern with the energetic of problems, our perception around problems, and also what is possible and where we're at as a human collective with how we can utilize problems in a new way in order to be a part of evolution. So, growing up, we may have experienced our parents dealing with a lot of problems, problem solving in school, trying not to be a problem to our parents. We've been trained to track if we're creating a problem, are part of a problem, and to stay away from problems. Now, that's a problem. If we have this relationship to problem, then we don't really get to receive the gift a problem may carry. Now, when we see things, when we play with our perspective in a new way, as I always say, we get to experience everything differently. And so playing with our perspective just means trying on new thought patterns, new beliefs on for size in relationship to a word, in relationship to an experience, and really being the scientists and explorers of our own life through curiosity and wonder to discover what's possible, to maybe create new ways of being a human and new ways of experiencing life, or what we call reality. So, problem. Ugh, I've been feeling them all day. And I was noticing the automatic pattern of, gotta deal with this. Again, I just solved problems. Go away. And I noticed that this didn't feel very resonant. And what it was leading to is, what is wrong with me? That big question, like, what is wrong with me? Now, the problem about the question, what is wrong with me, is we're telling our brain, or what's wrong with life, we're giving our brain a job to do research on what is wrong with us, to do research on what is wrong with life. And what the brain does is it comes up with all the evidence of what's wrong with us and what's wrong with life, what's wrong with others, what's wrong with the world. That's the way our brain works. And the way we relate and utilize our brain is literally through questions. The brain doesn't know the difference between, it's not going to say, like, don't ask that question. It's just going to be a servant to providing the answers to the question you're asking. It's kind of like a Google or ChatGPT. Think of it that way. It's really about how we ask the question. And so when we ask the question, what's wrong with us? It's going to show us what's wrong with us. What's wrong with life? Here's what's wrong with life. What's wrong with this situation, this area? This is what's wrong. And that just leads to more and more and more of that. It's like we literally live in an infinite universe where there really is no end to exploring a certain angle, a certain perspective or energetic. It just keeps going on and on and on and on and on until it leads to a change, until that pattern becomes so repetitive and it turns into a dense prison, and we're like, I gotta get out of here. Chew, change, death, rebirth. And so I'd like to, since we do deal with a lot of problems, there are a lot of problems, why not explore how we can relate to a problem in a new way? So I like using the term reality game. I really like putting those two words together because it gives us a reframe on reality, honoring reality, and also seeing it as a game that we're playing. I love saying that we're always playing a game. Everyone's playing a game. And if they don't realize they're playing a game, then they have probably forgot that they're playing and they got lost in the game. And this is not to dishonor reality in life, it is to be able to create more spaciousness around possibility and what we can possibly perceive. So there is a reality game where it's constant problem solving, putting out fires, problem after problem after problem after problem. And that can keep us stuck in a loop, in a certain kind of reality game where we're limited and our creative potential kind of becomes stagnant. Now, if we ask, okay, what's wrong with me? Why am I doing this? It's going to lead to more of that. So let's explore how we can approach the energetic of problem, whether that be an emotional problem, whether that be a mental problem, something confusing, a relational problem, or an actual physical problem, like in the house or on the land that you're on, or in the system that you're in right now in life. What if, let's ask a different kind of question, okay? Let's explore. Let's be explorers and wonder. What if a problem presents itself in order for you to be the one that uses that problem, that material, that energetic, that situation, and transforms it through your own being, through creation, through your artistic expression. Artistic expression can be anything. Some people find business very artistic, accounting very creative. It doesn't matter. Artistic really to me means unique. Your unique way of relating to the problem through your unique lens. So what if that problem is there showing up for you to tend to it, respond to it in your unique way and share that way? How does that feel? Because there's this problem solving reality game where it's like, oh my God, there's a problem. Help, help. I need help. Help outside me. Solving problem outside me. What's outside me for me to solve this problem? There's a difference when what if this problem is showing up for me to utilize it as the material, as the paint, as the object of my creative expression in the name of service, in the name of creating a new story, the name of creating solutions in the world. So probably sounds like problem. That's kind of interesting. Is all the things that have been created, like all these cool, I don't know, like this cup. Probably somebody experienced a problem where their drink kept splashing in their face while they're moving around, and like, maybe we can make a top to the cup. How do we do that? Oh, it won't just stay on. Okay, maybe like a screw. Okay, maybe like, oh, it's still splashing. Maybe like a little, and then it brings in this convenience and people get to enjoy it. So another example is like somebody moves to raw land and there's a mess everywhere. There's branches and it's hard to walk around. And they're like, ah, they could say, like, this is a problem. This land sucks. It's so untended to. I can't be myself here. Or they're like, wow, what can I possibly do with these branches? And maybe create decor around some pathway. And then other people get to enjoy this pathway into this waterfall that I discovered. Another example of a problem is I felt like I had a lot of problems before creating today, before this video. And I was like, I started like taking a walk to kind of make the problem go away or make it feel better. And then it was funny because I couldn't find like multiple trails that I knew were in this neighborhood. And I was like, okay, it was so weird. It was like I'm actually running from the energetic of problem I'm feeling. And so I sat in it and then I started creating with it. I began journaling and going into the energetic, and it opened up this whole gateway of creating this video and another video on TikTok. And now I'm like all inspired, but it's the same energetic, just a new relationship with it. And so I kind of want to play with more ways we can perceive problem so we can utilize it for creative expression and service. So there are many ways we can play with this, and you can create your own way. How do we know the way? Does it create relief in your body? That's it. If we perceive something in a way that creates relief in our body, that means our nervous system is relaxed. It means it's a signal we're in the right direction, and it's a clear sign that our soul, our unique soul light speck of innocence, feels safe to settle into the body. When the body feels unsafe, or we feel unsafe to be ourselves in our unique innocent expression, the nervous system gets aggravated, we get tense, we get misaligned, and it just leads to more and more problems into that problem reality game. And so, relief. This is how we find the way into our creative, unique expression and service in the world. And relief has been so like, doesn't matter. You'll feel relieved when you go to your yoga class. You'll feel relieved when you meditate. You'll feel relieved when the children are gone. It's like, no, everything can be done through relief and navigated through relief. So we can be fully in our bodies as ourselves in this life in every moment. So there doesn't need to be that gap of separation. So that's kind of like a little tangent. I kind of speak in tangents. So, okay, let's play with ways of how we can perceive our relationship to problem. One I really enjoy, which I kind of was contemplating, and then I actually heard it on this channel of this um, psychic reader that I really enjoy, Magnetize Yourself. I really enjoy her. Um, and so it's about like whatever we're feeling, the density in the field, rather than identifying with it, what if we're witnessing these problems that are in this field, in this planet, and we're actually, through our unique lens, creating the more appropriate perspective for humanity. So this is kind of like a badass way to play with relating to problem. But why not? Why not say, oh, I am an evolved soul that came from some star and I'm here to transform this reality, support ascension and the awakening of beings to their true selves. Why not? And what if in my natural self, I am in a state of peace and relief, and if problems awaken, I'm like, okay, I am that solution. How am I that solution? Through relief. And when I'm in relief, what happens? I ask, what is the more resonant way for me to see this situation, and I share that. So it sounds a little complex, but it's actually very simple. It's challenging a little to express it in words, to convey in words what I'm attempting to share, but I know you can feel it, especially if you're still watching. So, because problem, it's like a whole, it's not like one problem, it's like a whole realm of problems. Usually, like one problem comes with another problem, comes with another problem. Oh, now the car's not working, and now blah, 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 blah. It's like this whole energetic realm. If we experience our lives as energetic experiences, it's easier to play with it, right? So, what if we cannot identify with what we're seeing as problems in our field and really play with our unique way of relating with it? And not from our mind, but from source energy, infinite potential flowing through us. I have a really another silly example is I have a new car and I did a long road trip and on rocks and to some like indigenous gathering, and there was a really large clunk with the brakes, and I was like, oh my God, I don't feel like dealing with this. And I was trying to figure it out. I'm like, what's the problem? And my friend was giving me all the optional problems, and I was like looking up where I can go to the dealership, and if it was just like, and then there was a moment I'm like, this isn't a big problem, but I feel like it's leading to this energetic that I actually don't want to play this game. And I was like, okay, well, why not play with that? It's just going to disappear. And while the clunk was getting worse and worse. And I was like, what if it's just going to disappear? What if, like, whatever that thing is, even though it's getting worse and worse, is just like a branch that's stuck? Um, and what if, like, this resolves and the sound disappears and I'll share it with other people? And how funny would that be to share a miracle story of something resolving just because I didn't feel like tending to it? It wasn't like a huge problem. I just didn't want to play with it. And I connected it to service. Like, I'm going to share this as I'm doing on the video, and I've already shared with one friend. So this is where there is a problem. We are tending to it, but we can get really creative and playful with the problems. So there's been one example, right, of like there's a problem and sensing the problems in the field, and this could change with my unique soul genius while I'm communicating with source creation and then sharing it. And then there's like the problem with objects and creating inventions. And then there's the problem of objects, again, like things going wrong and miracles happening. And then there is like emotional problems, like me feeling really low before making this video, feeling like I have nothing to offer, or maybe my life isn't well enough put together in order to be able to share my voice into what's wrong with me. What's wrong with me? I can't even find a trail that used to be here. Two trails that used to be around the corner. Am I crazy? So that whole wormhole led me to coming back home, meditating, journaling, be like, maybe this is a re-navigation. Maybe there is nothing wrong with me. Maybe there's something really creative here awaiting for me. I'm gonna make a video about problems and relating to problems in a new way. Oh my God, what a gift. Ploop, and it ploops us out from the reality game of constant problem solving into infinite creativity and inspiration and limitless possibility, different probabilities, from problems to probability. So this doesn't need to be the whole new way you relate to problems in life, and your brain can go into like, well, she doesn't know about this and this, and what about these problems? And that's like the problematic thinking, right? But what if you can just play with linking problem to being material that you create with? Just like in relationship, when there are problems, it can turn into like the biggest openings of intimacy. Having a problem with a child and parent, like that can lead to really deep healing and revelation. And so enough with this reality game of what's wrong with us, what's wrong with life, and what's wrong with the world. It's just going to lead to more of that. I don't know how fun that game is. We're here to like enjoy life, right? We're here to be in joy. We're here to be in peace. We're here to explore the potential of the beauty on this planet together. And when you're feeling relief, creative, and that maybe even excited for things coming up and what's possible, isn't that a kind of world or reality game we'd like to play? So I have a lot more to say on that, as always. And I feel complete with that message. So thank you for sharing your awareness and your attention here. And I'll see you in the next video. Oh, I also doing a very first masterclass on playful parenting. It's on my Linktree. There are 2 dates for that, on the 28th and of this month of April and the 8th of May. So they're 2 different times. You can find that in my Linktree in the description box below. Playful parenting is going to be about the struggles going away through play, how we can, it actually connects to this problem, I didn't realize it, but how we can, through play, make struggles go away. And this is for parents and children, as and the relationship between parents and children, and also people who are reparenting ourselves. So yeah, I'd love to see you there and get to know all of you. Okay, bye.